I'd like to welcome you to the 25th Annual Scholarship Ring Banquet. My name is Rob Schmidt. I'll be the guy that'll kind of guide you through this tour here tonight. Just a reminder to please turn off your cell phones or turn them to vibrate, please. It's always kind of a disruptance, obviously, when your ringtone journey comes on. Also, if you have to tweet, you can, thanks to the Sports Information Department. They'd like for you to use hashtag YSU Ring for those of you into social media. So with that, I'm going to take a brief picture of everybody so I can post it a little bit later. I'm not doing a selfie because my face is too fat. All right, hang on. Panoramic. All right, panoramic. That's too hard for me. Are you kidding me? I'm lucky I can turn this thing on. I had to call for roadside assistance with it last night. I thought I was doing well. All right, so again, please make sure your phones are on silent. I'm always proud to have an opportunity to be a part of this event. It's a great crowd here tonight. Again, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here this evening. This is, each year it seems to get bigger. Everybody wants to know, what do you do? And it's just the Youngstown State community that continues to support YSU and YSU athletics. So we thank you again. Probably more than 900 people here. If anybody wants to keep count or post that tomorrow on Facebook like Ralph does. With that, just a quick reminder, this is truly the biggest fundraiser that we have at Youngstown State. In the time that this has been started by Joe Malmaser, now more than a quarter of a century ago, and that sounds really old, but it's just another way to say 25 years, they have raised more than $2 million. So, and that's just in table sponsorships since the inception of this event. It doesn't include individual ticket sales, program advertising, and other monetary donations. So again, nice round of applause for yourselves. We want to thank you for being a part of this and continuing to come. The credit goes to you. As I had mentioned, we want to thank Joe Malmaser, Athletic Director Emeritus. He's the guy that started this. This was his brainchild. Because of that and the success of this, they stuck him at table 110. All the way in the back, he gets preferred seating. Joe, would you stand? You're right next to Senator Michelle. When you're a board of trustee, that's the kind of preferential treatment you get as well. So we want to thank you for that. In addition, this past year has been a banner year for Youngstown State athletics. We had 6 teams here at Youngstown State win their respective Horizon League championship. Baseball, women's tennis, men's outdoor track and field, women's indoor track and field, women's outdoor track and field, and women's cross country. Now, it's a lot of rings by the Penguin Club to pay for. One reason why we're here tonight. If you would now, please turn your attention to the 2 video boards. We have a special thank you from each of the respective head coaches.
Hi, everybody out there. I want to thank all those Penguin fans and supporters, especially the Penguin Club, for a phenomenal support, for this past year. Women, of course, again, won that Triple Crown, and men, again, brought home the championship for 5 team championships. Never been done in history of YSU track and field, and it's a tremendous credit to, of course, all these wonderful student athletes, and, of course, tremendous coaching staff, and just the great support of the community. I want to thank the Penguin Club again, and go Gwens!
Hey, this is Mikael Sopol, head men's and women's tennis coach at Youngstown State University. Last April, we won for the first time with the women our first Horizon League Conference Championship. We went to the tournament and beat Wright State in the first round. We beat Milwaukee in the semifinal and Cleveland State in the final. So that was really a great experience and a good first for the school. We were really excited to qualify for the NCAA tournaments, where we play number 3 Virginia in the first round, which was really a really good experience for the girls and good exposure for the school as well. And would like to thank the Penguin Club for buying our ring, and hopefully they will have to buy a few more for us this year. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone out there. My name is Steve Gillespie. I'm the head baseball coach here at Youngstown State. Even though it is not exactly baseball weather outside right now, you'll see us get on the field here in a couple of weeks. We start up February 13th in Jacksonville, Alabama, and we're starting a quest to repeat our conference championship from a year ago. I'd like to thank the Penguin Club members and everything that they do to provide the rings for those kind of championships in our department. It's a great thrill for these kids, and hopefully we'll be back at it again come this May in Valpo.
Because of their success, You know, YSU finished second this year in the Horizon League's McCafferty Trophy standings, which is for all sports, not just men's and women's basketball, but the McCafferty is for all sports, and it's the highest finish ever since Youngstown State joined the Horizon League. And with that, we want to have the members of the baseball team who are in attendance here tonight please stand, along with head coach Steve Gillespie. Scattered throughout the room. Members of our women's tennis team who are here in attendance along with their coach, Mikkel Sopel. Would they please stand? And lastly, the men's and women's track and field teams that are here tonight, led by head coach Brian Gorby and his staff. Now, overall, there are more than 350 student-athletes here at Youngstown State. Now, they all couldn't be here, obviously, tonight, but those who are here in attendance, would they please stand and be recognized now? They clean up nice. So do you. You do, Bob. You look good out of that basketball uniform. It's a nice look for you. Not as good as Marcus, but it's good. All right. All right. Again, just a few other thank yous. We want to thank the staff and management here at Mr. Anthony's for another outstanding meal and their hospitality. Please let's give them a round of applause for all the work that Mr. Anthony does. Thanks to Cavelli Enterprises for their continued support of this event and continued support of Youngstown State and YSU athletics. Thanks to Birkeland Flowers for the beautiful centerpieces that you have on your tables here tonight. Thanks to Pegasus Printing for the programs that you have at each of your seats. We'd also like to thank Multimedia Farms. We appreciate their work tonight with the sound system and the side video boards. And Kevin Davis in the back for recording tonight's event. It will be edited, minus me, and then shown back on Armstrong 2100 throughout the next month. So if you miss any of the quips that we throw out tonight, you can go back and watch them on demand on Armstrong. Before we bring our first speaker up, there are several other people that we would like to recognize tonight. They told me not to do this, so that means I'm going to do this. Executive Director of Athletics, Ron Strollo. Where's he hiding? Yeah. You couldn't get far enough away. The only next place you were going to be was outside. Associate Athletic Directors, Elaine Jacobs and Rick Love. Would they please stand? Also, special thanks to Tom Morella and Jim Morrison. They're in charge of our Penguin Club. They put this event together. Would they please stand? Another outstanding job by both Tom and Jim. Thank you. Now, we're also happy to have all of our other head coaches here tonight. That's why it's special. You get to meet everybody kind of individually, one-on-one, outside the field of play. Would our head coaches, outside of the ones that we've already recognized, please stand? And one last thing, the rest of our athletic department, you know, they're the people behind the scenes. They helped out with this. They help all year long. We want to thank them for their participation. Would they please stand now? I only asked sports information to stand because I knew they'd take my picture. So that's why I asked them to stand. All right, it's now my privilege to bring up our first speaker of the evening. Needs a little introduction. I was told don't elaborate. In 2009, he was named Penguin of the Year. Last July, named the 9th president in the history of Youngstown State University. Not bad for a guy who started out holding footballs for Brown's legendary kicker, Lou the Toe Groza. But would you please welcome YSU President Jim Tressel.
Thank you so much, Rob, and it's hard to believe. 25 years ago, I remember when we went to Mr. Malmaser's office and said we'd really like to get some rings for this outstanding team, and how are we going to do that? And he got together with Jim Morrison and Arnold Collins and all the folks in the Penguin Club and began this tremendous affair where we had a chance to showcase our student athletes. And it's one of the special nights, I think, in this community that you get a chance to see our student athletes out of their uniforms, get a chance to meet them. We are so proud of all of them. I'm not sure there's anyone on our campus that does any more community service than these young people. We're very proud of the fact that they have an accumulative grade point average of over 3.0, and they just do an extraordinary job. And to think we've been doing this for 25 years now and raised that kind of money is amazing. And Ron Strollo already got to stand up, but it's hard to believe that 25 years ago, Ron Strollo was one of those athletes walking around with a ball to sign. He had hair. He was still slow then, just like he is now. But it's really extraordinary, and we thank all of you that have been backing this event for so long. It means so much to the university and to the athletic department, and this is a special night because we get to recognize the Gasser family, and you know, they've been extraordinary community members for Youngstown State University, our entire Mahoning Valley, and the things that they've done in this community that no one even knows about is amazing. I was telling Mrs. Gasser that I remember back in the old days going up to Mr. George Gasser's office, and he had these little staircase up to the top of the office, and he had all these knickknacks, and every time you would go up, he would show you the same knickknacks each time and tell us where he got them, and he has an extraordinary family, and it's really exciting to have a chance to recognize the Gasser family this evening, and with our great student athletes and coaches, and I'll say this to you, they told me I only had 2 minutes, but Ron knows I always need 3. I was in Columbus today, we had our university presidents meeting with the community college university presidents, and we were sitting down in a big room around a big table with the governor, talking about higher education and so forth. And when the governor walked into the room, we were all seated and so forth. When he sat down, the first thing that he said, he looked across the table and he said, "Hey, Coach, there's some exciting things going on at Youngstown State University right now." And all the other presidents are looking around, and he said, "You tell that Bo Pelini, he better get after him up there, because we're looking for some more national championships from the Youngstown State Penguins." And then we went on to our business. You're being noticed, your excellence is known. It's exciting to be here this evening. On behalf of the entire Youngstown State University family, thank you for supporting us. We look forward to hearing from the Gassers, and it was certainly wonderful to meet so many student athletes. Thanks so much.
You know what a difference a year makes. That gentleman wasn't here a year ago because it takes a Penguin to know a Penguin. We want to thank him, and we are very happy to have Jim Tressel as the president now at Youngstown State. And there are a lot of other people who are just as important and do just as much to shape this university. Our Board of Trustees, those that are here in attendance tonight, Dave Dybel, would he please stand? Jim Green, there's Jim right there. Dr. John Jakubic. He got prime seating, Senator Harry Michel. Ted Roberts is here tonight. Also, student trustee Bryce Miner and Carol Weimer, the chair. Not only that, we're very happy to have Dr. Martin Abraham here tonight, the provost at Youngstown State University. Dr. Abraham. Along with Dean Joe Mosca from Health and Human Services. And my favorite now, Dean Betty Jo Licata, business. Last year I said she scared me, so she called me a week after the event and said, "Why do I scare you?" I said, "You really don't." I said, "You're really kind of my favorite," but I got lost in what I was going to say, so Dr. Licata is my favorite dean now, and I mean that. All right, with that being said, as many of you know, the athletic department relies heavily on the support of our community, and in particular the Penguin Club and its members. And most of you already are members of the Penguin Club. And it's events like this that help our student athletes succeed and have a better chance to succeed in the future. And while many of you already are, still a lot of you are not. We need your support, and we'd like to have you become a member of the Penguin Club. And with that, President Ray Brya of the Penguin Club is here tonight to kind of twist your arm and tell you the benefits of being a member of the Penguin Club. Ray?
Thank you, Rob. Honored guest, the Gaster family, President and Mrs. Tressel, and all you wonderful people, thank you for being here. Welcome and thanks for everyone joining the 25th Annual Scholarship Ring Banquet. It's difficult to follow a man like President Tressel, but I would follow that man anywhere. Thank you, Jim, for being here. You may not be aware of what the students do, the YSU Athletic do for the community. They are a rallying point for all the athletic events. They take pride in placing things into the community, such as school visits, hospital visits, the Apple Butter Festival, spaghetti dinners, team clinics, and holiday projects. The Penguin Club assists the YSU programs in many ways. Recently, we've added $250,000 to the Watt Center, another $250,000 to the baseball, soccer, and track complex. And every year, annually, we do $40,000 to the athletic department for computers, software, and things of that nature. We also provide to the YSU student assistants in the YSU athletic marketing and sports information areas stipends. The Watt Center not only has activities for the YSU students, but thousands of high school students from Northeast Ohio visit the Watt Center for track and other events. These are potential students for the YSU program. To date, the Penguin Club has over $1 million in scholarship endowments through the YSU Foundation. And that's in very capable hands of Paul McFadden and his staff. They do a marvelous job. We sponsor such events as tonight, the scholarship golf outing, the bocce social, jamboree reverse raffle and auction, the football alumni outing and tailgate, the tailgate blast, all of which helps us fund our mission. If you have not joined the Penguin Club, to my left is a table that you can sign up. $75 gets you into the Penguin Club. This cannot be done without hard work by a lot of individuals. And the Penguin Club board does a lot of work. Could I have the Penguin Club board please stand up? Board members. May I ask all the Penguin Club members to please stand up? We have some people still sitting, so don't remember the membership drive over here. Any organization needs drivers, someone to help you reach your goals. And our drivers are two great individuals, and they were mentioned before, Jim Morrison and Tom Morella. Please stand up. By the way, Jim Morrison was inducted into the YSU Hall of Fame here recently. Congratulations, Jim, wherever you're at. Again, the Penguin Club was founded in 1974, and for the fiscal year 2015, we have our highest membership income level in history. The chair seats at stadium are in big demand and are going quick, and so are the tailgate passes. Keeping in mind that you need to be a Penguin Club member to have first dibs on those, so you need to get busy on that. I have no idea what has caused this mad rush for tickets, tailgate passes. Well, maybe it's Coach Bellini and his family joining the YSU family. Thank you, Coach. We also have an arm of the Penguin Club. It's the Football Alumni Club. To date, we have raised over $250,000, which goes into an endowment, again housed at the YSU Foundation. Our goal is to provide a new membership every year, or new scholarship every year, through our football family. If you are a football alumni and haven't joined, please do so. Call Jim or Tom, and they'll be happy to enroll you. One last item concerning Penguin Club membership. We're very excited about a new membership, Student Penguin Club. we will want to get the students involved in our Penguin Club while they're in school. We want them to participate now, to experience the program, to feel part of the tradition now. And when they graduate and become successful, we want them to become a Penguin Club member again and stay there, into our family. Again, congratulations to the Gasser family, Penguins of the Year, and thank all of you for participating tonight.
Thank you, Ray. Our next speaker has already been talked about twice. He's created quite a buzz in this valley since his return to Youngstown. He's a outstanding football coach, one of the most successful college coaches during his tenure. He's one of the most respected defensive minds in all of football. A graduate of Cardinal Mooney High School, he's come back home to lead your Penguins. Would you please welcome head coach Bo Pelini.
Thank you. It's great to be here tonight, and you always say it's great to be home, and it's been a long time since I've been back in Youngstown since I lived here. God, it was 1986, and a little story about that. Yeah, it was 86, and I was graduating high school. I just finished my senior year of football, and down at Youngstown State, a guy by the name of Jim Tressel got hired, and so I'm coming out of the locker room one day. And I'm walking down the hallway, and I run right into Coach Tressel as we're walking down the hall, and he walks up to me and introduces himself, says, I'm Jim Tressel, and good to meet you, Bo, and I sure wish you were good enough to play at Youngstown State University, but you're not. But I just wanted to stop by and say hi, so I took my act to Ohio State, and they took me. Coach Tressel didn't think I was good enough, so I really appreciate him giving me this chance to come back now. But and he always was a good recruiter and a good evaluator of talent. And trust me, he was a good evaluator then too. I promise you. But no, but it's good to be back. There's so many people. I've been hit the ground running, hiring my staff. In fact, with the coaching staff, whoever's here tonight, would you guys please stand up and around the room here. Not the whole staff was able to make it tonight because some of the guys are back home moving, and this is kind of their week off after recruiting to kind of get their, a lot of guys are moving their families and that type of thing. We hit the ground running with the recruiting, signed a good class, heavy representation, not only here in the area, but in Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, which is going to be the foundation of our program going forward. And, there's been a tradition of excellence that was set both prior to Coach Tressel and obviously when Coach Tressel was here and his staff and what they did during the 90s. And that's a standard that we're going to live by. That's a standard that I came back here to make sure that this program lives up to. And it's going to start off the field. It's going to start in the classroom and how these young men represent the program as student athletes. And the student will come first in our program. And then obviously that needs to extend on the field. And we're excited about it, about the opportunities. Eric Wolford did a heck of a job. He didn't leave the cupboard bare. I think the program's in good shape, and we just got to find the little ways. I'm talking about to the football team about the little things, the details that are going to allow us to push us over the top. That's what we're committed to doing. There's a lot of work to be done. Now that recruiting's over, it's time for myself, the staff, and the players, everybody to get familiar with each other, build a culture, build a family, get close, understand each other, hit the ground running in spring practice, and then head off into the summer and back into the fall and get ready to play championship football. That's what we're committed to doing. That's what this community deserves, and that's what we're committed to bringing back here to Youngstown State. It is an absolute honor to be back. I am really excited about being back in the community, seeing a lot of familiar faces, and I apologize if all the names don't come back. I feel like I got hit in the head a couple times between now and the last time I was here, but it's nice. It's nice to see familiar faces and the type of people that are here. And that's why my wife and I, we decided to bring the family back here. It's about being home, about being around family, about being around the type of people that we cherish. And it's good to be back in the community. We look forward to doing our part and making sure that we do everything we can to bring the pride, to keep pride in this university, in this community, in this program. And once again, I thank all of you for all the support you've given me up to this point, and now it's time for us to give back. So thank you very much, and appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Coach. We do appreciate your faith in Youngstown and coming back to lead the Penguins. Quick reminder, they open up in September at Pittsburgh. That's his season opener on the road. And then they've got 6 great home games at Stambaugh. If you haven't heard, the home games include 4-time defending national champion North Dakota State, national runner-up Illinois State, playoff qualifier South Dakota State. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, if you haven't become a member of the Penguin Club, please do so tonight or as soon as humanly possible. Now, one of the best parts of this evening, obviously, is a great meal by Mr. Anthony's and a chance to make some new friends. But for the most part, I think people walk away really impressed with our student-athletes at Youngstown State because you have a chance to sit with them at the table, you have a chance to meet them one-on-one, and obviously one of the highlights is having a chance to hear from 2 of our student-athletes. They excel in their respective sports, and they're outstanding ambassadors for this university and this community. Our first such person is a sophomore volleyball player from Pickerington, Ohio. This past season, she was named the Horizon League Setter of the Year and was an All-Horizon League selection. A transfer from High Point University, she made 4 all-tournament teams and was named the MVP of the Belmont Invitational. She averaged the most assists per set by a Penguin since 2005. She's a nursing major here at YSU and the recipient of the Lester F. Donnell Scholarship. Let's have a nice round of applause for Val Jeffrey.
All right, didn't trip walking up here. What's next? Give an amazing speech to 1,000 people. All right. Just kidding. Before I begin, I would like to give a huge thank you to everyone in attendance tonight. Your constant support for not only the volleyball program, but for all YSU athletic teams has been greatly appreciated. I'd like to personally thank the Penguin Club for their financial support. You guys provide scholarships for student athletes like myself to compete for this amazing university. You also provide money for those beautiful championship rings that I will get before I graduate. That being said, I would love to congratulate all the Horizon League teams here at YSU for their tremendous achievement for their titles. Last but not least, I would also like to congratulate the Gasser family for being named Penguins of the Year. We all are extremely grateful for your dedication and your steadfast commitment to our athletic department. My journey to YSU has been nothing short of kind of crazy. I grew up in Pickerington, Ohio, a small suburb of Columbus. In my sophomore year of high school, I committed to play volleyball at High Point University in sunny North Carolina. However, I ended up leaving after the first fall semester. And yes, I know what you're all thinking. Why did you leave sunny North Carolina? Well, that's a great question. I actually wanted to pursue a degree in nursing, and they didn't offer it there. I was on a full athletic scholarship to a school that costed about $43,000 a year to attend. So when I told my parents that I wanted to leave, you can imagine their responses. After weeks of debate, they finally agreed to let me leave. They saw how passionate I was about nursing and the bright future it held. I think the worst part in the whole transfer process was telling my former teammates that I was leaving. I had formed such a tight bond with them just in a matter of 4 months, and hugging them goodbye, not really knowing if I would ever see them again, was probably the hardest thing I've had to do thus far. But little did I know that I'd be gaining an even bigger family here in Youngstown. So 2 days after my dad came and picked me up in the beginning of December, I went on a visit to Wheeling Jesuit University. Now, mind you, I had emailed not only them, but about 50 other colleges, to which about 6 responded. So a few weeks after my visit, Wheeling called me back and said they couldn't take me. So for most schools, they were starting up within 2 weeks, and you could say that I was getting a little frantic. However, that all changed when I received an email from Mark Hardaway asking if I could come take a visit. Wheeling Jesuits coaches were actually so nice. They ended up calling Mark, asking if he would need another setter. So we hopped in our truck, trudged through snowpocalypse of 2014, and I guess the rest was history. To be standing here today is such an amazing opportunity, and to be standing in front of such an amazing group of supporters is just incredibly humbling. There aren't enough words to describe how grateful and blessed I am to have the loving teammates, coaches, and athletic department I do. Everyone from the Strollos, Marty Hayden, Brian Sklenar, Martha Dettel, Emily Wallet, and John Vogel, thank you guys. Without your constant support and encouragement, I wouldn't be half the student athlete I am today. To my teammates, whom I now call my sisters, thank you for always having my back. I know we may not always see eye to eye, but I know without a doubt in my mind, I would drop everything for you guys. Not only do I have an amazing volleyball family, but I also have a great group of friends from other athletic teams. Sometimes I swear I'm on the soccer team for how much I'm around some of you. I would also love to thank my best friend, the woman who I can always look to for guidance on and off the court, Jessie Gehrig. You were the first person who reached out to me because Coach literally forced you to call me over winter break. That was an interesting phone call. You were just so easy to love, and even though I knew you were a setter as well, that thought never really overshadowed our growing friendship. I thank the Lord every day for your heart and for putting you in my life. And last but certainly not least, I would love to thank Coach Hardaway and Coach Smith. You both do so much for our team, and I think a lot of it remains underappreciated. I know God placed me at YSU for a reason. He's blessed me with such incredible opportunities that I don't think I would get anywhere else, and most of them stem from you both. Next weekend, I'll be in Colorado with Coach Hardaway trying out for the women's national team. Now, I know my place, and I don't think I'll be making that team, but I think it's just the sheer opportunity of going that I just can't show enough gratitude towards. Everyone here at YSU has made this year absolutely unforgettable. The students, the faculty, and even the campus itself all make up everything you would want in a university. I'm so proud to be a Penguin, and I cannot wait to see what the next 2 years hold for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. Now, I was asked by, I think, John, right, that we had already mentioned social media, so since everybody liked what Val just had to say, if you're tweeting, please use hashtag #ValRocks, right? If you're going to do any tweeting. That wasn't that funny, John. That was. All right, our next student athlete is also a nursing major, except he's a member of the men's track and field team. At the Horizon League Outdoor Championship last May, he won the 3,000-meter steeplechase, placed second in the 5,000-meter run, and was named the meet's most outstanding track performer. He was also able to qualify for the NCAA prelims in the steeplechase. Not only that, but he twice finished in the top 5 at the Horizon League Cross Country Championships. A junior from West Jefferson, Ohio, he's the 2014-15 recipient of the Drs. Diane B. and Michael J. Millador Scholarship. Please welcome Austin McLean.
I'd like to apologize in advance. I got a B in communications, so apparently I'm not that good at this. So we'll start it off here. Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Austin McLean. I'm a distance runner here at Youngstown State University, and I'm proud to represent the YSU men's cross country and track and field teams here. I want to start off by saying that I congratulate the Gasser family on their Penguins of the Year award, and getting to meet them and getting to sit there and talk to them. Amazing family, and they deserve it. Great people, and I'm sure that I and other scholar athletes couldn't be here in their position that they are without the support of the Penguin Club, which we greatly thank, the Gasser family, and so on, everybody in attendance in this room. So I'd just like to thank everybody that's in attendance and the Gasser family. And with that, I'm going to go to a little background about how I arrived here at Youngstown State University. As you heard, I'm from West Jefferson, Ohio. It's a little podunk town outside of Columbus. No one's ever really heard of it, obviously. And we really didn't have the athletics or coaching or the numbers of students. And I just remember I was always a sprinter in track and field. I loved it. High jump, sprinter. And if you know me, I'm a distance runner now, so if that didn't change. I remember the day we did a mile time trial for the high school, and my coach just looked at me and he goes, "You're gonna be a distance runner." And I looked at him like he was going to the loony bin, and I told him nope. And then, I'm here 4 years later, so there's always that. But after that, I started to get pretty serious into it, and I started to love it, and I started to just really get into the sport, and that's when Coach Gorby comes along. I didn't think I would ever meet somebody in my life that could talk so much. I remember the long hot days in the summer. I was ready to get out, go play some basketball. I'd be out with my friends. My phone rings, Coach Gorby. I'd probably sit it down for about 20 minutes while I'm playing basketball, put it on speaker, and tell, "Hey, Coach, I'm already coming. You don't have to call me every day. I love YSU. I'm coming." So, and I thank Coach Gorby every day, because with plagued injuries my senior year, a lot of colleges kind of looked off of me, and I really couldn't get anything going from being ranked first in the state to not being able to finish races. He saw something in me, and he gave me a second chance, and that's why I'm standing in front of you here today. And I can't thank him enough to start off. And so begins my journey at Youngstown State University. Upon arrival, and it was rocky. I had a few big injuries that really set me back, and I just kind of got lost. I didn't know what to do anymore, and I thought I was losing it. I came here on scholarship, and I kind of felt like I was disappointing him and the rest of the team. But as I was here a few years, you meet those kids and you meet your team, and you're just so close with them. And I lived under the same roof with these guys for years, and that's what a lot of people I think overlook in life is the definition of family. A lot of times we look at it as genetics, or we look at it as blood, but it's not really about that. It's the same. The guys living under the same roof, the women living under the same roof, share the same personalities, that share, we cook dinner for each other every night, big family dinners, looking out for each other. It's the same group of guys that are willing to do the same exact stuff to make it to the next level that you are, and you want to be around them all the time, and they're just going to pull you up, and they're going to bring you to that next level. And that's what I had. When I got to Youngstown, being 3 hours away, I really didn't get to go home and see my family. It's not that big of a drive, but with being in nursing and traveling on the weekends and stuff, it was really hard for me to adapt to. But I realize now that I don't need to go home, because I have everybody that I need that supports me here, and I wouldn't trade anything in the world with that aspect. All the guys, everyone, even the community. I'm not from Youngstown, obviously, and I feel as if I was always a part of this community, and there's no greater feeling than that. And going from just a rinky-dink town and being nobody, and now I'm speaking in front of you, I feel so honored just to be in the presence of everybody. And it's funny how everything happens in life, and the motto I always used to use was everything happens for a reason. So all the injuries, meeting everybody I did, getting to the place I am now, and now I'm here. And I don't know, like I said, I'd like to thank Gorby once again. I can't really thank him enough. And a couple of things that I'll never forget about Youngstown in my experience, and these are the best feelings in the world, and that's the spring runs, going out by myself and going onto the outdoor track and just looking over the city and seeing all the lights and seeing the stadium lit up and seeing the Watts lit up from across the way, and just this nice spring night air. And there's no better feeling than that, knowing that I'm from, I feel like I'm from the city now, and everyone's adopted me. And in the same aspect, the next best feeling would be I get to put on a Penguins jersey every weekend, and I get to go out and represent this town and this city, as an underdog against all the big teams in the nation, and that's what I love. There's no better feeling than that. And YSU is YSU is my family, and I'm proud to be a Penguin, and that's all from me.
I have no idea how you're only getting a B in communication. Can we maybe monitor that class to see if he should get an A? I was almost in tears. That was really, really good. Val, you did great. Thank you. That's always the best part of the night. We'd also like to recognize 2 other YSU students who are recipients of this year's Chuck Perizich Scholarship. The scholarship's in honor of the longtime sports editor of The Vindicator and is awarded to students who assist the Sports Information Department. Tonight we have Kyle Kronovich and Brandon Ross. Brandon's at night class, so he opted to stay in class instead of coming here. Wise move. But Kyle is here. Would he please stand? They do a lot of things in sports information that a lot of people don't really realize, and those are great young men. Before we honor our 2015 Penguin of the Year, I'd like to recognize the past Penguins of the Year. If they would please stand when I announce your name. Last year's recipient, Don Constantini. Dr. Daryl and Vicki Mincy. Reed and Judy Schmutz. I can't see. Does Reed have that red jacket on? I'm going to take that from him one year. Dennis and Janet Haynes. Doctors Diane and Michael Millador. Mr. and Mrs. Robert and Marilyn O'Leary sadly couldn't be here tonight, but they are here in our spirit. They wish they could be here tonight, but we would like to recognize the O'Learys for all of their dedication to Youngstown State athletics. We've talked about him, didn't mention her. She's the better half. Joe and Olga Malmaser. Coach Ed DeGregorio, past Penguin. Coach D. And lastly, the members of the YSU Football Alumni Group. Would you please stand here tonight? All right, with that, I'd like to bring up Paul McFadden. Paul is a proud YSU graduate and a past Penguin of the Year. Currently the president of YSU Foundation after being the chief development officer here at Youngstown State. Paul McFadden will introduce this year's honoree.
Thank you, Robbie. It's a tremendous honor. I'm excited to introduce the Gasser family as the 2015 Penguin Club Penguins of the Year. I've known the family since 1992. Like President Tressel, I would accompany Mr. Malmaser out to the Gasser Chair Company, up that spiral staircase, up to visit George, up in his office. And about 2 weeks ago, I visited Gary and Mark out at the company, and my impressions of what I wanted to say this evening were only reinforced by that conversation. There's 3 pillars to the Gasser family. First and foremost is family. Everything about them is family. It permeates everything they do. They work together, they holiday together, they vacation together. You walk through the offices, there's family photographs everywhere. But what makes them special is how much they respect and honor their heritage, those pioneers that brought their family to where they are today. They have a great appreciation for the past and those family figures that are responsible for where they are today. The second pillar, and this is the one I'm excited about, is the tremendous, remarkable success of the Gasser Chair Company right here in Youngstown, Ohio. The little informal poll talking to people before here at the function, and as I suspected, there's not a whole lot known about the Gasser Chair Company. More to come. And the third pillar is why we're here this evening, and it's their philanthropy. They're giving back. It's all what the Gassers are about. Their giving back goes way beyond Youngstown State University. Their impact on our community is profound. And I'd like to share briefly their family's journey with you. Eugene and Bertha Gasser were born in Europe. They married in 1907. Eugene was from Switzerland. Bertha was from France. And like so many immigrant families back then, Eugene was a machinist. Their company was purchased by a company in America, so across the ocean they came, they immigrated to New York. Shortly after that, that company was purchased by the Commercial Shearing and Stamping Company right here in Youngstown, Ohio. So next thing they know, they're right here in Youngstown. Hardworking, industrious. As soon as they could scrape up enough money, they bought a small farm in what we would now call Liberty Township, and that's where they raised their 6 beautiful children. And in the family, they learned about hard work. They raised cows, they raised chickens, they raised pigs and had a small garden, anything they could do to supplement Eugene's salary from commercial shearing. And in 1946, 3 of the boys, Louis, Roger, and George, decided they were going to start their own manufacturing concern right there in the family barn that we've seen so many great photographs on Logan Avenue. They wanted to try to work with a new material that emerged during World War II, aluminum. So they started making parts for trailers. They started making parts for window sashes. This is Youngstown, Ohio, so they made aluminum beer kegs, of course. They did. You may want to look into that again, Mark. I don't know how many chairs you're selling in Youngstown. And the company was bumping along. In the early 50s, they kind of fell into making these dinette sets for kitchens, kitchen tables and chairs. That started to work for them. An offshoot of that was chairs for restaurants, and that started to work for them until a chance in the mid-1950s that George Gasser had at a casino in Reno, Nevada. George was there on a call to try and sell some restaurant chairs, and he noticed that people were dragging the bar stools out to the one-armed bandits, out to the slot machines. Because back then, people stood when they played. And he talked to the casino owner. He said, you know, I bet I can make a stool for you. He said, no. We don't want chairs cluttering up the floor. People stand when they play. We don't want to talk about it. So George measured up the machine anyway, went back home, and came back shortly after and said, well, I made a few demos for you. Why don't you just try these out? He called them slot stools. And the rest is history. Soon, the casino owners found out that people played much longer if they were seated than if they were standing, and the Gasser Chair Company took off. Well, I'm excited to share with you tonight, right here, we're all so proud of Youngstown, Ohio. The Gasser Chair Company is #1 in the world in producing casino chairs, gaming furniture. #1 in the world. Quietly living there on Logan Avenue. They're the benchmark in the industry. All other competitors use Gasser Chair as the measure that they are trying to achieve. They produce over 100,000 chairs annually. And in Youngstown, Ohio, they export 10% of their chairs to China. A Youngstown firm exporting to China. How often do we hear about that? All of you obviously are sitting in a Gasser chair right now. You can recognize Gasser chairs. There's so many in our Loge complex in Stambaugh Stadium. They may be different models, but they all have that trademark plastic molding, if you will. So I flash back to the early 1990s with Mr. Malmaser and George Gasser. I was in Los Angeles, and I looked at this chair, and I'm like, I don't know anything about chairs, but it has that plastic thing, you know. And I crawled under. I probably looked crazy in this restaurant, but I looked and said, Youngstown, Ohio, Gasser chair. So next time we're up with Mr. Gasser, I said, I saw one of your chairs in a restaurant in Los Angeles. And he said, Paul, you need to join the Upside Down Chair Club. Correct? So back in the day, if anyone was out of town and they saw a Gasser chair, you're supposed to tear off the label. Where's Mr. Anthony? I hope he's not mad at me. I came early tonight. This is off a chair that was over there somewhere. And if you mailed it to George, he sent you a certificate, the Upside Down Chair Club. Well, we're all Youngstown proud. I know Ray wants you to join the Penguin Club. I want you to join the Penguin Club too. But when you're out of town, look for the trademark plastic. Look for the Gasser chairs. Look for our hometown's excellence, because you will find it everywhere. I found it in a ski resort in Colorado. If you go to Seven Springs, they're everywhere. Atlantic City, you'll find Gasser chairs all over the place. Join the Upside Down Chair Club, because it makes us all very proud to say we're from Youngstown and we know the Gassers and what excellence comes from our community. The third pillar, and while we're here to honor them this evening, is their generosity to our community. If you look across our community, where have they not touched? The Tyler Center for the Mahoning Valley Historical Society. the YWCA, the YMCA, the Compass Group, formerly Birdman, Stambaugh Auditorium, Goodwill Industries, and of course YSU, the Penguin Club, the YSU Foundation. They've made an indelible mark on our community. Family, incredible excellence, world-renowned excellence in philanthropy. That's what the Gasser family is all about. That's why we're so honored to be here with them this evening. You see the portraits on the screen of the three pioneers. Currently, the company is led by the second generation, Gary and Mark. But what's exciting is the third generation is starting at the company now. It's a tremendous honor to call to the podium, second generation, the president of the Gasser Chair Company, to accept the 2015 YSU Penguin Club Penguin of the Year, Mark Gasser.
Thank you, Paul, for that very generous introduction. Good evening, President Tressel, Coach Pelini, YSU student athletes, distinguished guests here tonight, and all in attendance. Words cannot adequately express how honored the Gasser family is to have been chosen for the Youngstown State University 2015 Penguin of the Year Award, particularly to be in the company of such elite and prestigious group of past recipients. When we were first advised that the Gasser family was being considered for this recognition, I had to think, what would the three brothers do? Anyone who knew them knows that they always heeded the advice of the late Coach Dean Smith. You should never be proud of doing the right thing. You should just do the right thing. They did not seek the limelight under any circumstances. The reason that we finally decided to accept this award was to recognize and honor these remarkable men. True to form, I was late for the meeting where we voted on who would accept and give the speech. So that's what got me here tonight. As Paul mentioned, the Gasser family came from very humble beginnings. When Grandma and Grandpa Gasser arrived at Ellis Island in 1907. Three of their children, Roger, Lewis, and George, had varied careers until 1946, when they decided to set up a small business in a two-story barn on the far northern boundaries of Youngstown. Lewis and Roger each had 3 children, and George, my father, had 8. I'm often asked, what was it like to grow up in a house with 8 children? In order to answer that, I need to explain that 7 of the 8 of us were born between 1950 and 1958. So bringing a new baby home every year seemed normal. We thought everybody did that. But then for 7 years, there were no new babies. So in 1965, when Mom and Dad gathered us together for a family meeting, we were all so excited, believing that we were finally going to get that color TV that all of our neighbors and friends already had and we'd been asking for. So you can imagine our reaction when they told us that very soon we were going to have another new brother or sister. My youngest brother, Louis, was nicknamed TV for the first few years of his life. But honestly, he completed our family, and we actually did get that color TV just a few short years later. While growing up, our house was often hectic, but there was one woman that was the glue that held us together and made sure that each of us felt loved and important. Please join me in recognizing my mother, Janet Gasser. It's not unusual for you to meet people in the area that are very busy every day, developing, building new products, providing employment, and bringing dollars into the local economy with little fanfare. In the early days of the company, my father and his uncles purposely stayed out of the public eye.
They, as we do today, believe that the products and services that we provide our customers are all the recognition that we need. I have a favorite saying that quality is an attitude that manifests itself in the products and services that we deliver. While this may explain my personal philosophy, I believe it also describes the Youngstown State University and its student athletes. The quality of the education and the athletic programs manifest itself in the careers of the successful graduates. Today, many American colleges and universities struggle with decreasing enrollment and funding. As we all know, Youngstown State has been meeting these challenges head-on. However, I am pleased to share with you some of the statistics for the academic year 2015. First of all, freshman applications numbered over 5,000 as compared to just 2,000 the previous year. There were over 1,700 scholarships awarded for the academic year 2015 compared to 845 in 2014. The YSU Foundation that Paul leads manages over $239 million in assets and ranks in the top 1/3 of public university foundations in the United States and is the largest public university foundation in Northeast Ohio. I believe the resiliency of the people in the Mahoning Valley is the reason why we have such positive statistics to report in the current, not so positive, higher education environment. The Mahoning Valley has faced adversity on many occasions, and we have always figured out a way to make the proverbial lemonade out of lemons. I believe that each time we experience adversity, either personally or in a business, it is an opportunity to become better or bitter. The choice is ours. I also want to add that the leadership skills brought to YSU by Jim Tressel this past year as our university president have reinvigorated YSU's commitment to continuous improvement. Welcome home, Jim. I've recently begun using the phrase industrial athlete at work to refer to anyone who excels at making a living using mental and physical talents to perform jobs that require skill, strength, and endurance. Again, I believe that a parallel can be drawn between the YSU academic athletics and the thousands of hardworking people in our Tri-County area. The students compete on one level while enrolled and then continue to compete on a professional level as employees or business owners. Mental and physical toughness, along with the stamina, are traits that the academic athletics learn at a very young age. And while not every academic athlete will compete on the field, court, or on a track, all students are athletes in one way or another. For some, home field may be a computer lab, and for others, the site of an archaeological dig. But they are all competing against themselves, against each other, or competing against the status quo. It is these traits that help to make them contributing members of society. We need to embrace their differences to appreciate their contributions. The three Gasser brothers had three very different personalities and skill sets, each of them having a profound effect on the lives of everyone that they met. There are dozens of stories I could share with you about the positive acts and the lasting effects that George, Louis, and Roger had on so many people. Uncle Lou, he was the one that taught me the human side of business and life. He was always encouraging and full of wisdom. He had a very successful medical practice in the area, and when he retired, he came back to the company and instituted our very first self-insured health care plan for our employees, a model that we continue with today. I personally will be forever grateful for him to teaching me the very valuable life lesson of the best way to remove a splinter from your finger, using a hypodermic needle, a skill I still find useful today. At this time, I would like the members of Dr. Louis Gasser's family to stand and be recognized. Then there was Uncle Roger. Have you ever heard the saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure? I'm not 100% certain, but I do believe that Uncle Roger was a devout follower, if not the creator of that phrase. This man could create value out of anything, and I do mean anything. Roger was an amazing machinist and tool builder. He would often search the local salvage yards for old die sets and machinery that others had discarded as scrap in order to meet the growing needs of the business. He would take it back to the barn and have it in production ready in a few short days or weeks. I was a teenager with a keen interest in his vocation, and so I asked him to teach me to do what he did. He handed me a bucket full of old, dull, and broken drill bits that I'm sure some other company had discarded, and he taught me how to sharpen them and make them useful again. My wife will tell you that his salvaging instincts are still with me today. Will the family of Roger Gasser please stand and be recognized? And then my father, George Gasser, who taught me so many valuable life lessons, it's hard to choose just one to share. But one that I always think of first is his voice saying, "Nothing happens until somebody sells something." He taught me the importance of interacting with customers face to face in the right way to make a lasting first impression. His kind heart was one he shared with everyone he came into contact with, both personally and professionally. We miss him every day. Will the family of George Gasser please stand and be recognized? It was the three brothers' ability to recognize and capitalize on each other's unique and individual strengths that enabled them to form a company that will celebrate its 70th anniversary next year. We currently employ 185 team members in all three of the company's business units: Gasser Chair, Taylor Seating, and Mastercraft Industries. In conclusion, I would like to thank all of those responsible for choosing the Gasser family to receive this award. And to all the students tonight, I offer Winston Churchill's words: "A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity of every difficulty." Please seize all of the opportunities that come your way, especially the difficult ones. On behalf of the entire Gasser family, thank you. Thank you all.
Very nice. Thank you. Again, thank you for the Gasser support, and it's mutual. We really appreciate what you do for this community and for Youngstown State. And if you take nothing else from tonight's event, you are now free to rip stickers off of every chair you come across from sea to shining sea. Am I sending them to you now? Is that it, Mark? Am I sending? All right. I got carte blanche now, right? Thank you. Just a reminder, we'll wrap this thing up for you. Again, thank you very much for your support, for being here tonight. We love every one of you. There is a basketball doubleheader tomorrow that we need to see you at Beagley Center. The women will take on Oakland at 5:15, followed by the men's game against Green Bay at 7:45. The men's tennis team played earlier today. We wish them continued luck. They took on Toledo this afternoon. The women's tennis team has won its last 3 matches now, and they will be at West Virginia this Friday. The baseball team, as Coach Gillespie had mentioned, will head south this week to begin its new season. They will play this weekend at Jacksonville State in a homecoming for Coach Gillespie. That's where he was at before he came to YSU. Also, the softball team opened up its season last weekend and split its 4 games that they played at the Campbell Tournament in beautiful North Carolina. Also, the women's swimming and diving team will now be getting ready to compete in the Horizon League Championships that will take place in Milwaukee, February 25th through the 28th. The women's golf team will be at the Texas State Delta Gamma Spring Challenge this weekend. And best of luck to the men's and women's indoor track and field teams as they take part in the Spire Division I Invitational this weekend. It's a very busy time at Youngstown State. We thank you for being a part of that. We hope to see you at a game very, very soon. Good evening.